The thing you got to be most careful about, and it happens so often that it can be aggravating if we're not aware of it, and that's the stop run. It runs the stops before going down. It really does. And, you see it over and over and over. The opening of the day ran the stops up at the top before going down, and it'll head fake going down and then running the stops at the top part. And before it looks like it's going down, it's over and over. Let's take a look at just the most recent ones here. And I was thinking about taking this short, and I used to just want to jump in when it's breaking down, and sometimes if you can time it right, that's good, but it ran the stops before it went down. Let's check it out right here. The stops are up here. The stops are up here. So what it do, it head faked a sell-off, came back up, stopped them out here, and now it's going down. That's a typical pattern. The best way, in my opinion, is to learn how to trade it when it comes up here and starts to break down again. See, this is a failed second high, and we're told in the ICT videos that when it makes a failed higher high here, the best place to trade it is when it breaks down and comes up to this pivot. Look at that. That's the entry point right there. That is the entry point. Man, gotta get that. Gotta get that. That is the best entry point. Okay, let's take a look over here. Well, we can see it over and over. This up and down movement here. Down, failed to go higher, came down, went back up there. Very close to that breaker. Let's take a look at that just to zoom in on that and make sure that we're seeing this right. Different areas that this takes place, Right here it did. It went high. Actually, a lot of things are happening right here. A lot of different things are happening right here. You get kind of a breaker block situation where it flushes up, comes down and displaces, and it created a fair value gap, which is exactly where price pulled into to come down. And then you could also consider this a higher high here and a failed higher high here in this area. And here's the pivots. And when price broke down, it came right up to it on this pintail here, right underneath those pivot lows there. Price shot up right underneath that and went down nicely. Those are the kinds of trades I need to get better at. The failed higher high displacement breakdown. That's what I got to get better at for sure. Now, I got to admit, when others were talking about this going long here, let's take a look at the 5-minute chart. When it broke out, and it could have been profitable to some degree on various scalping techniques right here. When it broke out to the upside, swept the highs over here. All it did was go into the 15-minute fair value gap, which we can see right here. If we take a look at that, where did it go? Where is the 15? That's the 30-minute. 15-minute fair value gap right there. You can see came up into this box where there's a fair value gap right there. So I'm looking for it to continue to go down. It just went up to sweep the highs and went here to sweep the lows. It's been sweeping back and forth, and then that usually indicates it's going to make a move. Yeah, well, obviously it's going to make a move in one direction or another, but I was looking for it to break down right here, creating a failed swing high, which is like what we learn on ICT. If there's a breakout here and it comes down and it fails to go higher, it's a failed swing high, usually the breakdown will retreat back to these pivots. It didn't quite come up there for me. It didn't come up there unless you count this candle's wick right here, but it went up so far. I'm not sure I would have been confident in taking that. So it didn't work the way I wanted. So, shorting right here in this area, but you did get a lot of testing in this area. I just don't see any fair value gaps on the 1-minute chart anyway. Let's look at the 5-minute chart. Yeah, it looks like there was one. If I wasn't in the kitchen and I was drawing this out, preparing for this, I would have noticed that. But you see the top of the fair value box goes all the way up to the pivots, and I would have wanted it to come up more. It did go almost halfway into that. So it's hard to say if I would have taken that trade or not if I was sitting here. A lot of times I like it to go up to the pivots to the top of the box, and it just might have not come up high enough for me. So we're waiting and waiting for another trade opportunity. This really looks like it wants to break down. Now I'm not sure, sir. I trust it down here with the 2 pintail trade that I have. And you know, it was the time to strike on that was down here. The first time it touched. Now it's the second time with a lower consolidation period. You know, I definitely think it's probably going to push lower this time. I mean, if it does just come and test and give us some buy up opportunities, and it's possible, but I'm not as confident in that as I was over here the first time it touches it. Now we'll see what happens though. Let's keep. All right, we need to make a note here too that the fair value gap on this breakout on the 1 minute right here became an inverse and started to become resistance. So that's good to know. Let's point that out. Also, all right, let's keep an eye on it. Here we go. It's going down now. What should we do? Let's keep an eye on it. Let's mark the low that it already broke through here and keep an eye on it. All right. It's definitely possible that it wants to go up and sweep those highs right here one more time before going down also, if it's going to go down at all. It's definitely building up some liquidity over here to sweep. And who knows, it could go all the way back up even higher before. But it seems like that's what this was, to take these highs here. But who knows, it could definitely try to take these, creating some more buy-side liquidity, lower than this though, stacking it. But sweeping these is not unbearable to think. I just want to make a note of my trading today in this choppy area with the technique I was observing. It's so choppy that you have to have a specific way and reason for trading and observing the price action. If this turns green, we'll go long. Let's see if it turns green here. It's kind of a big candle though. It's too big. Every green candle on the bottom has been followed up by another green candle. It has. Right here it went down a little bit, but every green candle other than that one has been followed by another green candle. That's too big for me though. And every red candle has been followed by red candles to the downside. Every red candle at the top has been followed to the downside by red candles. So when it got up here, I shorted, and it just took so long for it to finally go down. And when it finally went down, I closed early, and I could have really made back everything that I had lost chopping. I'm just experimenting. I want to get familiar with different ways of trading. I like being able to observe something and put it to the test and practice it and test my emotions. And you got to go through the psychological and emotional obstacles of taking the trades. So here's a green candle at the bottom.
Order filled.
Let's see if it goes green. It is. There it goes.
Stop filled.
Go up. Hit my target. Hit my target. I'm going to put my target up higher. Hit my target or my stop. My target or my stop. Hit my target or my stop. Hit my target or my stop.
Target filled.
Target filled. So what happened was it turned green. I'm glad I didn't get that first one. When it turned green again on the pintail down here, I went ahead and tried it. All right, and I'm not saying this is a strategy that I'm going to always do. I'm just saying for today, in this particular situation, what I'm seeing on the chart, and that's the pattern.